Alright, so I'm going to start working on the electrical, and instead of working on the wiring harness like I have been, I'm going to jump into doing the battery cables. Doing that primarily because I know I need new parts. Today's the last day of the weekend, so the only time I work on this is on the weekend, so I get started on it. I'll find out what kind of parts I need, order them today. Maybe by next weekend I'll have them. I plan on mounting the battery in the trunk and running it all the way forward through the firewall. I plan on using these little called quick car little grommets here. They're actually I don't know exact term they call them, but firewall grommet, I guess. This is, what does it say, 14? It says grommet 4 gauge. I got 2 gauge wire here. I even with this lug on it, it passes through, so I know it does. There, and I've already tightened it up. I've already tightened it up once, so I know it's going to tighten up all the way. But I bought this locally. The reason I didn't get black is for whatever reason. No difference other than color. Black runs about 50 cents more a foot. Go figure. So I went ahead and bought the red local. I know I could get it a hell of a lot cheaper online, but at the time I just wanted to go ahead and get it. That plus it being local. So I got the red. I'll route that, find out exactly how much of the black I need. I know I've probably got a couple extra feet of the red. So let's get started on that and see what I need. Well, that sucked. That was a bigger task than I was expecting. I have to rip all these body panels up. Fishing wire. I'm just hoping I'll be able to get this carpet laid back down in a halfway presentable way. Let's show you where I did for that grommet. If I can reach up here and have light. See, I got the grommet here. I ain't got a grommet there yet. Use a unibit, step bit, whatever you call it. Run that hole out. Got them unibits, not that well of a uniform cut. It's a good circle cut, but it's not a clean cut. So there's a bunch of sharp edges. Take a file to it, clean it up the best you can. But on the plus side is you throw one of those grommets in there and start threading it in there, it bites, so it's not going to spin too much on you. Makes it a lot easier to get that grommet in there. That was 14 foot. Let me show you where it's at. So 14 foot got me all the way up. 14 foot got me through the firewall and up to this little terminal strip up top. I got a little bus bar. Off this bus bar I can go ahead and take a lead to the starter, as well as take another one to the alternator. I'll have one. This is a 4 terminal. Let me pull this cover off. So this is a little 4 terminal. Who is it made by? Blue Sea. So this is a little 4 terminal. The only thing I don't really care for this, it mounts good, it looks decent. The only thing I don't care is the studs are a little bit on the small side. I think they're 1/4 inch studs. I wish I got a little bit bigger studs. I plan on putting the negative bus bar right above it, right here. So that way when I come through the other, whenever I come through the other firewall hole, I'll just ride it the same way and come around, hit the negatives. Starting to run out of real estate here. So like I said, 14 foot got me plenty of room. I probably do have about 2 extra foot, but I plan on ordering a circuit breaker, mounting it somewhere in here. So I'm not going to cut anything just yet. I'll order that circuit breaker. One reason I was real hesitant on running this remote battery is I get paranoid about running this large gauge wire up underneath everything and packed in everywhere. I get worried of a slight nick on the insulation and a direct battery positive to ground causing an overload and fire and all those scary things. But if I can get a circuit breaker put on there and I get that circuit breaker to actually work the way I hope it will, it's going to give me a little bit of peace of mind. So that's one thing I'll do, is I'll put a circuit breaker in, battery straight to that circuit breaker, and from the circuit breaker I'll hook this lead up. So yeah, I'll go ahead and order another 14 foot of black. I think you've seen some remote battery location mounts before, but we'll do it again. See what kind of questions y'all come up with, and I'll direct you to somebody else to answer them. Definitely a heavy duty battery box. eBay purchase. Thick, heavy duty. It's like a $40 something. I can't remember if it's like $42 to $48. $40 something battery box. Came with all the hardware. Well, let me rephrase that. Didn't come with bolts to mount it, but came with the hardware for fastening the battery. The only problem, other than it's so damn heavy, is it is like, I don't know, maybe it's just my battery too, but it's like right there on the edge of not fitting. Well, let me rephrase that. It's not going to fit. So the battery is just a hair too big. I'm actually wondering if this is just a jumbo battery. I got another battery laying around. I'm going to measure it, see if it's the same size. I don't even know if batteries come in standard sizes or not, so let me go measure that. So yeah, other battery I got's the same way. I might have an 1/8 of an inch more clearance, but it's not enough to really help me out any. So how am I going to make what I got work? Either I see if I can get one of them long, I don't know if you call it a turnbuckle style, just a long bolt that I can thread another bolt into, or B, I could go ahead and just I wonder if I was to groove this right here, get an extra, well, you only got about a 1/2 inch there, so I don't need to put a whole lot of torque on it, but if I could round out or waller out about a 1/4 inch right there, maybe it'd be enough to get me to reach the ends. Let me think on it and see what kind of materials I got to see what I can do. Alright, so you can see that I kind of wallered it out, used a little what do you call it, a little carbide bit on my drill. Tried to waller this or oblong this hole a little bit just to try this out, and I am still just not quite far enough. I can just barely get one nut on there. I can just barely get one nut on there, or excuse me, I can just barely get one thread on there, and that's without the washer. So that's with me wallering out both sides. So I'm just going to drop back and punt and not mount it the way it was designed, but I'm going to do it anyways. Just lay this thing right across the top here, and there you go. It ain't gonna want to go that way any, so, and it's a good safe distance away from my posts. So adapt and overcome, make do with what you got. It'll work till it won't. All right, let's move on. All right, so it turned out pretty good. It was a pain to drill holes for the bolting for the bracket, but other than that, it was still it's doable. I went ahead and mounted up my breaker. This little circuit breaker. I'm hoping this works the way I'm guessing. It's 160 amp busman, 150 amp busman circuit breaker, resettable. You can trip it like that, and here's you reset it right there. Battery is going to come in on this side and go out to the rest of the vehicle from that post. Off of the same post where my battery gets tied to, I also have this fuse. This fuse jumps back over to this relay. This relay is for my fuel pump. I got a fuel pump, one fuel pump wire coming in, and I got the trigger also coming in. That's that. Tomorrow, I'm hoping to go to town. I'm gonna go ahead and cut this to length. The battery, actually the cable goes here, and then I just need a quick jumper from here to either this post or that post, whichever one's going to be my positive. Currently that's my positive, so looks pretty decent. I was happy with the way it turned out. Just a word of caution, make sure you don't drop anything, because you're not going to want to, I can't get my hand underneath this tray to get it out of this little cubby hole down there. So if you drop something important down there, you're going to have to pull everything out to get to it. I plan on running my ground up to there, so that's another thing. My ground, I'm going to take it up to there, bolt it to that. From that also, I'm going to come straight to the battery post down here as well. So that should make a good body ground point up top there. Okay, I'm pretty close to being done back here. Just want to give you a rundown how I got this thing laid out. Batteries in place, positives on this side, negative obviously. I'm running my positive up to the circuit breaker right here. So you got your battery supply on this side through the breaker, load side, and this is my battery going, my 12 volt cable going up to the engine compartment, my fuse panel. I'm gonna have to get a different lead, or a different connector. So like I said, then this right here is what goes up through the body panels up to the through the firewall up into the engine bay. And then I have the negative side. I got the negative side coming in from the engine bay. I'm going up to this bolt up here. This bolt right there for a ground. I'm going to ground it up right there. I'm going to do the same thing. I need to get a lug. And when I have that crimping tool, I'll crimp this one right here. But I'll land that lug on that bolt. I've already got the other end of this cable that goes to my battery grounded. So that's that. Went ahead and finished the wiring up on my fuel pump relay. There's my my little circuit breaker, fuse for my fuel pump, circuit breaker for the whole car load. This is 150 amp. I'm really thinking I picked too low of a load for the whole load, but we'll see. Let's see, I'm to the point where I'm getting really close to putting some power to some stuff. I want to, like I said, I've already put oil in the motor. I'm going to go ahead and put some, as soon as I mount this reservoir, I'm going to put power steering fluid in, make sure it's all pipe tight. I'm also need to put in transmission fluid. Make sure it's pipe tight. Yeah, I'm about to the point where I'm going to start stick a battery in this thing and start firing things up and seeing where all the smoke comes out.